Hello, everyone, and welcome to Activate Your. We are live. Um, wow, I wasn't sure for a second because last time we had technical problems, but this time it looks like we're all good to go. So I'm excited to be here with my special guest, Lisa Barnett, today. And today we're going to be talking about something totally different, well, about money, but transforming your limiting beliefs around money specifically. And so we all have all sorts of different limiting beliefs, and that's why we actually don't have as much money as we want, or we have challenges in keeping money, or receiving money. There's just so many different things, right? So we're going to talk to Lisa about that and how we can use the Akashic Records and other processes to start clearing away or transforming those limiting beliefs. So welcome to the show, and Lisa Barnett, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I know, I'm all off today.
No, this is great. This is so fun because, we don't get to do very many of these kind of live things, live at least where you actually get to see us. So it's very cool. Thanks for having me on.
So for those of you who don't know Lisa, let me tell you a little bit about Lisa and what we're going to be talking about today. So Lisa is here today to talk about how you can transform your limiting beliefs, looking at your, sometimes we've struggled for months, years, and, haven't found a way to change our money situation, our abundance situation, our prosperity situation. So she helps people who are struggling with money issues but don't understand why. That's a lot of us, I think. And you may be doing all the right things but get poor results or not exactly the results you would like to get. Lisa can zero in on the blocks, whether they are recent ones from your childhood or even a past life. And with guidance from the Akashic Masters and energetic healing on a soul level, Lisa helps you break through your blocks, clear emotional pain, fear, and karma to help you bring a clearer, more powerful picture of what is possible for you into your life. Lisa is the founder of Akashic Knowing School of Wisdom and an internationally known teacher and consultant of the Akashic Record, Your Soul Library, and she's a clear channel of divine wisdom and brings more than 20 years of spiritual counseling and energetic healing to her clients and students. And she's here to help you create the abundant life you're ready to live now. So, here we go.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
I know. Thank you for that. So there's so much that we want to cover in today's show because, obviously I've had you on Awakened Happiness Now, and we've talked about the Akashic Records and what they are, but this time we're going to be talking about money beliefs, right? Our beliefs around money, our beliefs around poverty, our beliefs around worthiness, I guess you would say even. So let's just get started into it. And for those people who may not know what the Akashic Records are, can you just start off by telling us a little bit about what the Akashic Records are?
Absolutely. So, and what I love to do is to bring the group, everybody who's listening now or listening to a replay, bring everybody into that vibration of the Akashic Field with me so you can have an experience of that, and we'll do some clearing and releasing of old limiting beliefs while we're here today. So the way I see the Akashic Record is as the information arm of Source. So many people imagine there's a lot of actually, physical images and pictures of big grand libraries floating around. So we tend to call it the library of your soul. But the truth is, of course, it's not anywhere. It is within us. We really connect through our hearts, through to this divine source energy and information. It's infinite. So basically, when your soul decided to individuate from source and take on a journey, everything about that journey has been recorded. And so from that time, billions of years ago, to this very moment, and even because there really is no time and space, expanding into what we call the future, everything is actually written and recorded in your personal Akashic records, the records of your soul. So when you access that information for you, you realize the uniqueness of your soul, where your soul has been, what your soul has done, all of these pieces that have made you the unique being that you truly are. So, all that said, what I'd like to do is, like I said, bring the group into the records with me. And so I'm going to do a little process, and you can sit back and close your eyes if you can. I assume most people are probably listening online, so hopefully you're sitting in a nice chair where you're safe and solid. So go ahead and close your eyes if you can. And I always like to start with a nice deep breath as we just center into our hearts. And we let our hearts open and expand a little bit further as we invite our souls down into our physical bodies, actually down, all the way down into the tips of our toes. We invite this big soul to really get deeper, become more deeply integrated into the physical body, and then we connect to our dear Mother Earth beneath our feet, and we ask her to help us to stay grounded and present as we do this expansive work and have this expansive conversation today. So we ask the Divine Lords of Unconditional Love to help us center fully in this moment as we create this sacred space. Please wrap us in your love and protection, and allow us to travel to the highest realms of the Akasha available to us today. Please help as we lay our multi-dimensional hearts open to divine love and release all resistance. Lords of the Akashic Record, please guide us to the deepest truth we can access now. Support us in healing and releasing that which no longer serves on our true path. We give great thanks for your divine love and support on this journey. So again, just breathing into your hearts, you may feel this column of silvery blue energy encircle you. People often feel like they've come together with a group of friends, some of their soul family members. We kind of come together in this energy of vibration. So just breathe into that. Notice what you notice, whatever it is. It's, of course, just perfect. Good. So, what would we like to talk about today, Shefali?
Okay, so now that we're centered, we're grounded, we're in that space, we've called on the Akashic Masters to be with us. Well, we really want to talk about how we can, what can we do to start clearing some of these limiting beliefs? How do we even know what they are, Lisa?
Well, it's really fascinating to me because, of course, everyone is unique, but we're also, most of us have lived somewhere between, okay, so I'll say the number that most of us live here on Earth is somewhere around 800 lifetimes, which is a heck of a lot of lives, right? So most people I find that are connected to or attracted to information about the Akashic Records or working in the Akashic Record or field have lived, they're getting older. They're in their 400, 500, 700, life. And so we also have a lot of similarities, and there's a lot of the same sorts of lifetimes and energies that create some of this stuckness. So we all come to do it all. That's part of the deal when we decide to come to planet Earth. It's kind of like making a contract that says, I'm going to play this game, and once I buy into the game, I have to finish it so that I can go on and do whatever else I want to do. So because part of the game is doing it all, that means that, we do both sides. We play both sides of the game. We play both, we do all aspects. And so what I find is that there's enough similarity that we really can kind of name them archetypically and release them energetically that way. So, I'd just like to ask the masters for the group, what is the first thing to kind of talk about, bring up, and maybe clear? So the first thing that the masters are actually talking about is, and I do a lot of work, I'll just tell people I do a lot of work in past lives, and I guess I'll kind of explain that, because what I find is that most people come to complete karma, and what completing karma is to me in the records is finishing a circle. It's finishing a cycle. So if I jumped out of a lifetime, if I left a story because I was unhappy how it was going, I may have left by literally just moving away, running away, dying, becoming ill and disconnected. Sometimes we actually jump out of a story through addiction, and so becoming an alcoholic or a drug abuser can actually be a way to leave a story also. So, but in one way or another, we have not completed whatever it was we came to learn and grow and do and finish in that lifetime. So that's an incomplete, which is what I consider karma to be. That's the way I get the explanation in the Akashic Records. So one of the lifetimes that the masters are talking about is lives where we sold ourselves short. So it's a little bit of a different lifetime, and there's all sorts of different layers that come through around abundance. But one of the reasons that people often lack abundance is because we didn't step into our power. We didn't empower ourselves. We didn't do what we came to do. So in every lifetime, we actually write tons, I'm going to say hundreds of soul contracts to do things. We have karma we want to complete and learn about and grow around. We have all sorts of next steps that we want to take, because we're really all about the growth. That's why we come to our dear planet Earth, is to grow and expand and to truly remember who we really are. So those lifetimes where we sold ourselves short, where we didn't step into our power, where we didn't do what we came to do. And so for a lot of people, especially on a call like this, who are interested in the Akashic Records and creating abundance in a more expansive way, that would mean that you came to do something, I'm going to say, that was empowering for you and of service to others. So it might have been a lifetime in which you came to bring some new information or technology to the planet, or maybe you came to be a healer of a certain sort, and you were afraid to be seen, and so you didn't trust in yourself. You didn't believe that you really came to do this. You didn't believe that this was possible for you. You know, how many people on the call have thought things like, who, me? That's ridiculous. I can't do that. I can't be that, right? Absolutely. And so we sell ourselves short. Yeah. So about 10 or so years ago, when I was working in the Akashic Records and just mostly doing Akashic consultations for people, the beings of light that keep my records, there's lords, masters, teachers, and beings of light. Each person has their very own record keeper, so these beings are your own masters, teachers, beings of light. So mine said to me, you're supposed to bring this out to the world. And at that time, I had 3 very small children. I now have 3 teenagers, but back then they were pretty small. and I said to them, because I'm a little bit of an, just disbeliever, I thought, really? Who, me? You're crazy. I've got these 3 kids, and that's just insane. So, but I had enough faith and trust and belief, and they yelled at me long and hard enough, that I said, okay, I get it. I'll just keep whatever, putting one foot in front of the other, doing my work. And what will be, will be. And so even though I didn't run forward, I stepped forward. I believed that what they were telling me was true. And eventually, years and years, 10, 12 years later, here I am able to bring this out into the world in a much bigger way. So the lifetimes where we sold ourselves short, we turned our back on our inner guidance. We turned our back on our mentors and teachers who said, you're going to bring this out into the world and you're going to help people. And so when we sell ourselves short, when we don't believe in ourselves, we're cutting off a piece of the abundance of the universe that is ours to have and to be. So in this way, I'm not speaking specifically about financial abundance, but of course it always connects, not always, it does connect back into financial abundance. So if you stepped into your power and you did whatever that was that you were told you had come to do, or you kind of thought or had that hankering, that feeling, well, maybe I'm supposed to do this, but I don't believe it, I don't trust, I don't have the faith in myself. Of course, there's a whole piece of that would have most likely brought you financial abundance also. And it would have brought you abundance of all sorts of things, of joy, of fun, of soul family members, of people who are here to support you, maybe a loved one that, you were looking for in another way. And when you don't step into that empowered place of knowing the truth of who you are, when you sell yourself short, then you really are kind of cutting all of that energy off. You're like, no, I don't want it.
Interesting.
And you're right. Of course, you're pushing it away. You're going like, no, I'm not that. I'm not, I don't want to have that. I can't be that. I'm not going to receive that. And so as we do that, as we doubt ourselves and we disbelieve the truth of who we are as souls, we literally are kind of changing this whole vibration and making it, we're making it hard for ourselves to receive.
Wow.
Abundance, yeah.
So it kind of comes down to believing in ourselves, believing that we are more than just these physical beings in our little box, right? We're a lot more than that. But like you, I'm jealous. I'll be honest. I'm jealous. You have somebody telling you what to do. I don't have anybody telling me what to do. Sometimes I think, is it just my mind? It's like, am I crazy to think this thought? Like really, like who am I to do this, and who am I to think that I could be successful at doing this? It's like, I don't know. Is it just me, right? So it's like. I always say, you know what? If somebody would come in front of me and tell me this is what you're supposed to do, go and do it, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would jump up and say, all right, let's go. But I don't have that other than my own, hints and nudges and little things like that. That I think, well, I'm having this thought. Is it mine? Is it empowering? Yes, it's empowering. And does it make me feel good? Yes, it makes me feel good. Then it probably is a message from, my guides and so on, but I don't have enough confidence in it because I'm still, I would feel better if they were standing in front of me saying, you should do this and it'll be great.
I hear you there. I have to say, mine don't stand in front of me, and the truth is that very often our guidance comes through as it sounds like us. Mm-hmm. And so of course I have to kind of jump in there and say, this is one of the reasons that I do Akashic consultations for people, because they need that they're really feeling like, I need that support. I need someone to tell me that this is true. I'm looking for this validation. So I have to say that a lot of times in working in the Akashic Records and doing consultations for my clients, so much of it is about really validating what they kind of have an inkling is true for them. And then, of course, as you know, I do teach people how to access their own Akashic Records, because that is what the masters said to me 12 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. They said, you are to bring this information back to the world because it is so important. Humanity is now ready. We're at a vibration where we're able to receive this information, where we're able to move from kind of the old low vibration. We've all stepped up as really a planet, humanity as a group, and the Earth herself, our dear Mother Earth and Gaia, as we also call her. Mm-hmm. Is raising her vibration to enlightenment. And so the time now is that it's much easier to reach the records. So I have these images where about over 1,000 years ago, the vibration of the Akashic Field was literally pulled so far away from Earth. The only people who could access it were really the mystics, the meditators, the gurus, the spiritual teachers, the people who were really connected to Source already, because that was their life path. They were teachers, they were spiritual teachers, they were meditators, gurus, like I say. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, those were the only people. Humanity couldn't access it for themselves anymore because we were misusing it as a people, as humanity. We were like, oh, how can I make more money? Let me see whose gold can I steal? Where do they keep their gold? We were looking for information that was completely out of integrity. And so that's a whole nother thought about, different things that block us. If you imagine that when we're out of integrity and we've done things like steal people's, gold, there is some old karma in there that maybe needs to be completed before you are as abundant as you may like. So,
Interesting.
There's so many levels and layers of everything in the universe that kind of connects into our own personal abundance. But I have to say, I digress. So hopefully people can follow along, because sometimes it's a challenge for me to follow along with. It's just kind of bringing through whatever they're talking, the masters are bringing through. But really, so what they did tell me all those years ago was that it was time to bring this vibration to the planet so that people could be guided, divinely guided. I always say that you're divinely guided by the beings of light that keep your records, because they are pure divine source energy. They're not ascended masters, they're not angels, they're not regular guides. They are really souls and beings of light that have individuated from Source and gone into the Akashic Field, the information arm of God. The Akashic Field is where everything is recorded, and they have decided to help support everyone, all souls, whether they're here on Earth or on another planet or other plane or dimension. They keep the records for everyone. And of course, you've got your very own, like I said. Mm-hmm. And so when we can learn to talk to them and get that information, it does make life easier. And that's exactly why I teach what I teach.
And I'll be learning it this weekend with Lisa, because Lisa's coming to town, and she'll be teaching the how to access your Akashic Records. So I'm looking forward to that. So here's a good question for you, because we all have this fear of failure, right? And before I started doing the Tao Summits last year, I had this huge fear. It's like, oh my God, I remember, before I sent out my first email to invite my guests, it's like, what if nobody says yes? What if they all say no? What if I don't get anybody? Like this huge fear came up, the fear of failure. And of course, I was like shocked when I started getting responses, and they were like, yes, yes, yes. Like, what? And I ended up getting more people than I had originally planned. So I was like, okay. But that fear at the beginning, if I would have let it stop me, I would have missed out on such an amazing opportunity. And when I say opportunity, I don't mean financial opportunity, but it's the blessings of talking to so many wonderful people, learning so many wonderful things, just so many blessings. And then all of my wonderful community and listeners, it's like, oh my God, I just love them. It's like, I would have missed out on that if I would have stopped myself, but we all have that fear sometimes. So where does that, why do we have that fear? And I mean, I know for me, when I have that fear, I just like, I'm just gonna go past that fear. I just go. It's like I see it, and it's like, okay, I feel you, I hear you, I see you, but I keep going anyways. But why do we? What is that? Is it? Yeah, I'm just gonna ask you, what is that?
Everything has many, many layers, and part of really the simple answer of what that is when we go from being these huge, light, bright, grand souls, and we come down into these tiny little human bodies, we forget who we are. And so we're really, pretty much we put ourselves in the situation where we want to learn and grow from kind of a point of view of a baby. And so literally we start all over again, and our challenge to ourselves, which is kind of interesting, is something like, how quickly can I wake up and create the life I choose, the life my heart desires, the life my soul contracted to create? How quickly can I pull it together and really enjoy life here on this beautiful blue-green earth? So that's part of what our game is. And one of the things that often stops us is believing that we're human. So it's a really simple and silly belief.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What? We have a hard time believing that we're human?
No, that we actually believe that we're human. We believe that's all.
Yeah.
That's all we are. Is
Yeah.
that we're just these little human beings, and that's not true. So we forget, or we act like we don't know how to expand, or that there's no assistance in the universe. We believe that we're all by ourselves and we have to do it all alone. And of course, that's one of the things that the Akashic Masters really want to say to everyone, if there's nothing else that anyone hears today, is that you are never, ever alone. Not only do you have your own huge group of beings of light that live and keep only your records, which is really important to know and hear. You have your own masters, teachers, beings of light that are there supporting you and really want to talk to you. And that's, of course, there are angels, we have angelic family, there's plenty of other beings in other dimensions that have come to help and support us. But your beings of light, your Akashic record keepers, are literally waiting with bated breath to have a chat with you.
Yay, okay, we're going to be talking this weekend, let me tell you.
Yes. Yes, a lot, absolutely. So, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I know that there's more to life than just being this little human, and I know about the support. We have a lot of support, so that's all great. But why do some of us make it so hard for us to receive abundance, keep abundance, and even recognize what abundance is?
Yeah. Great question. And like I say, usually the masters like to give me, 3 to 8 levels and layers, and we can actually go through and clear a bunch of those today too.
That would be great.
So don't despair that we haven't done any real clearing yet. Although I do also want to remind people that really by setting your intention and having moved into the vibration of the Akashic Records with us, that with your intention to release and to let go of anything that no longer serves you, the beings of light are really here working with us. So you can be receiving that energy healing and shift even as we speak, as we talked about these lives where you may have sold yourself short, and all you have to do is think, I'm ready to let that go. I am done, thinking I'm this tiny little minuscule silly human. I'm letting that go. I'm ready to realize the truth of who I am. And the masters are so excited to help us, and that's really what they're here to do, is to make life easier, to guide us, to support us. And so
okay, so before we go any further, let's just do that right now, because we talked about this before. So all of you people watching and listening, so let's do that right now. Let's let that go, that thought, that feeling, that belief that we are limited, that we cannot step into our power, that we're not expansive beings. So let's let that go, okay? I just want to enforce that again. Just let that go.
Yes.
I know that it's a tough one for a lot of people, so just, you know what? It doesn't serve you, so let it go.
And to add to that, yeah, absolutely. So let's take a couple breaths, and I will bring through consciously that high vibration of the field, and we'll clear the trauma that's connected to that belief. So I'm going to ask the masters to help us. So again, if you can, if you're sitting in your house or a safe, whatever place where you can sit back and close your eyes, go ahead and do that. And I'll do that too, because I love to just kind of expand out. Breathing into your heart. We invite the beings of light of the group to come forward and help each and every person who has the intent to release any of the old pain and trauma that holds them believing that they're just a small little human being and nothing more. So what I see is this beautiful kind of, I see it like a vortex, like a hurricane, that big spinning energy. And what I see the masters doing is literally that lovely golden vortex is coming down and vacuuming us out, and it clears it out. And each person, you might feel that kind of vacuuming, and sometimes it feels a little bit like spinning. Your head may go woo, a little dizzy, or sometimes we see that golden light come in or feel the energy shift, whatever it is, again for you, just all perfect. So just continue to breathe into that as we clear and release these old beliefs where we've sold ourselves short, where we thought we weren't enough, where we didn't have the faith or the trust to step into our power. Oh, good, that feels good. Throughout all time, space, continuum, whatever plane or dimension here on Earth, in this lifetime or in a past lifetime, we let that go. Good, good. And then what you might notice is what I'm seeing is just this gold and sparkly light coming back down and filling everyone up. Because we always want to fill ourselves with our highest and best Akashic vibration, our highest and best soul wisdom and energy. Whenever we complete clearing things out, we want to fill ourselves up with our highest information. So it's always us. It's the highest and best of us. And it's one of the things that people often forget to do is we clear and release things, and then we're kind of leaving a space. And of course, as we know, that good old saying goes something like the universe pours a vacuum, so it will fill it up with something. And it might be a collective conscious belief, it might be your friends or spouse's belief, it might come from your boss that you need to work harder. You might have cleared out some energy around making money, and then if you don't fill it up with yourself, somebody else is going to jump in there and go, oh hey, I've got a good belief, I believe that you could work really harder for that money I'm paying you. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I feel like I have to work more. I'm working later. Why am I working harder? And literally, it's because this other energy really moved into your space, someone else's energy. So always fill yourself up. All you have to do is ask, for that divine guidance. You can ask your angels or your guides, or you can just ask your Akashic masters. Whether you can hear them or not, they're still there. So just like you can ask your angels whether you can hear, feel, or see them or not, you can ask your Akashic masters, please fill me up with the highest and best Akashic energy, wisdom, information that I can now hold, now that I've cleared out this old stuff. So that's what we're doing. Good. Oh, good. That feels good. It feels kind of sometimes like a pop of energy, and then I can breathe. I can feel my heart open and expand a little bit more. So people listening may be feeling or hearing that too. I know, Shefali, you love to yawn. Yawning is a great way to release. It really is. It's just it's a fabulous way to release.
Yeah, and that's how these people know. They know something's happening because I start yawning, and it's like, I love it. Yeah, thank you. And when I did that too, I felt the energy coming in. For me, it's like a cool energy. Nice. But yeah, I'm like, I could just lie down.
Oh, nap time after the healing, right?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. So, please do that. So like as Lisa said, you can call on your Akashic Masters at any time to give you more of your own wisdom, divine love, divine healing, things like that, right, Lisa?
Absolutely. Just like we call on our angels, the truth is, like I say, they're there for us. They're waiting to talk to us. They're really quite verbose, I have to say. And so, I would say that one of the best ways is to actually learn how to discover the key. I teach people the key, a vibrational key to open your own records that moves you into this high vibration so you can have these conversations. But even if you don't do that, you can just, like you would speak to your angels, you would just say, please help me, please support me, please help me to release this old belief, or please fill me up with my highest and best Akashic wisdom and energy. So they're really there. When you ask them, when you talk to them, whether you get a response, whether you feel like you're in the vibration or not, they're there to support you.
Wonderful. Okay, so here's a question that it's gonna this may not even be anything that you do, Lisa. I have no idea, because you know me, I don't follow the script. I don't follow any script, but I have a question. So.
Okay.
I was thinking about this morning, and I was gonna write a Facebook post and just ask, but then I didn't get around to it because I got sidetracked, blah blah blah. But if there's something that you would like to manifest, for example, an experience or whatever it is, what do you do? Do you just, do you use I am statements? Do you call on your Akashic Masters? Do you go into Your Akashic Records and do a prayer, do a something? Like, what do you do when you want something, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, me personally, I would say, of course, I think the highest and best is to do kind of all of the above. So the first thing I would do, or I would suggest one of my students do who can open the Akashic Records, is open your own records. Because also, again, you're moving, the Akashic vibration is one of the highest vibrations anyone can access on this planet because it's divine source. So you're moving into the information arm of source, of God, if you're comfortable with that word. And so we're raising our vibration really to this place where we often are really able very easily to let go of the old beliefs. We can ask the masters for lots of guidance. Is there something blocking me? What is it? How can I let it go? Can I see it in a different way? So one of the things I teach people when I teach them to access their records is to ask tons of questions so you get lots of information. Again, when we raise our vibration, it's kind of like moving up to the moon where you're seeing the earth, this beautiful big globe, and it's just picturesque and lovely. But when we move into our records, it's really very similar. So even though we see life on earth, we may see the story, we can see this whole pattern that stretches throughout time. So we see the reasons that we chose this family, the reasons we came to do this work, the karma we may be ready to let go of. So you have this whole huge string of information, or this expanse of information, and all of a sudden it takes the charge off of the little story. So if that little story is, I'm having a hard time paying my rent, of course that's traumatic to us as people. But when we see and go into our records and hear about, through a consultation or because you've learned how to access your own records, and you see that you've been wealthy, that you've been a landowner, that you've been very powerful, that you've been a wise man or woman, that you've been a prophet, that you've done all these amazing things in your lifetime, all of a sudden it feels more doable to step into your power and to shift this place that you're in. So part of opening our records is shifting into this high vibration and then realizing the truth of who we really are. These huge ancient souls, these souls who have been here on earth 500, 600, 700 lifetimes, who have done it all, who have been very abundant, you know.
That's true.
Yeah, and then so right there you kind of get it, and then you can do processes of working through all of these different things. And I also say I have a soul signature meditation that I love to do, and it also helps us to kind of create our soul signature and expand it out into the world so that we can connect to people and ways and situations that we can create to help us, support us in creating what we want to create in this world.
Interesting.
So yeah, lots and lots of different ways through the Akashic Records, through accessing our records, that we can, and through different tools like the Soul Signature Meditation is a $20 meditation that's on my website that someone can download and listen to. I've had students and clients listen to it every day, and they say every time they listen to it, they get a new client, or, you know, something shifts or opens, or they find some money that they, you know, forgot was in a winter coat, you know, or, you know, kind of on and on. We have these wonderful little experiences where if our intention is to create more abundance, then it can show up in a million different ways. You know, like we say, it might be a new job, it might be a new client, it might be a check in the mail, it might be a gift, it might be found money or things, you know. So the abundance of the universe is infinite. And when we can really open our hearts to receive that, it's very huge. And so it's a whole nother process about, you know, we'll talk more, of course, about the my package where I really do a healing package around abundance, but opening to receive is a big process that many of us don't even think about. So our havingness, how much can we have? Do we keep, you know, do we just allow ourselves to have a little? And that means that if I can only have just this little cup, then every time I get more than that, I have to spend it and get rid of it. So some people find they have kind of that energy. Ooh, I have too much. That's not good. I have to get rid of it. So all of a sudden they go on a shopping spree, or they lose it, or they make a bad investment and it goes away, you know? So, so all these pieces are pieces and parts of what creates our abundance. So the ability to have, the ability to receive, which is actually a little bit different. We have a whole vessel in which we have that bigger, not that little cup, but that bigger vessel to be able to receive and have that energy flowing through us all the time. It's very important to allow the energy to flow to us, through us, and then return it back to the universe. And so all these different parts are ways to help to you know, clear and heal abundance issues.
Wow, cool. Okay, great, because you know, pretty soon you'll be hearing me talk about some new stuff that I want to do. So it's like, okay, I want to make sure I manifest it. There's some new things coming up in my life, and it's like, okay, So, but you're right. It a lot of it has to do with the sense of havingness and receiving. Can I have this? Yes, I can have this. You know, can I receive this? I'm working on it. I'm still working on the receiving part. You know, there are still lots of little issues from my past that are still kind of blocking me from receiving or deserving. You know, and I think a lot of people have that. You know, which if it doesn't serve you anymore, just let it go. Yeah. So I think that would be my new catchphrase. If it's not serving you anymore, just let it go.
That's right.
Okay, so let's talk about. This is something that I hear a lot about, and I'm not sure I totally understand it, but I mean I kind of do. But the vows of poverty, karma vows, things like that. So if in a past life I took the vow of poverty, because I know that in one of my past lives I was a monk, like a Buddhist monk, and definitely took the vow of poverty. I know that, you know. So is that still affecting me now?
You know, vows are really interesting things, and kind of the funny story is there's so whoever wrote whoever wrote the wedding vows was very, very smart. They knew the energy of vows, because when we vow to be married until death do us part, and so they built that release right into the vow. Now, vows are very, very powerful, and very often we take vows that are like spiritual religious vows. Like if you were a monk or a nun, you may have vowed to give up all of your worldly possessions. And sometimes we say things like forever. Forever is a really long time, let me tell you. And my poor husband, I used to laugh. He's finally gotten over it, but he used to say, "I'll love you forever," and I'd say, "No, don't, please, don't."
Yeah.
I know that doesn't sound very romantic. I know you're trying to be romantic. I know that's really lovely, but forever is a long time, And so, love me now, love me here, love me in this life, love me passionately here and now. But forever, that's all right. You can let that one go. So, it used to really make him mad.
Or sometimes we say, "I'm never doing that again," or "I'm never going through that again." Sometimes
right.
When we have an emotional charge on something, "I'm never going through that again," which that could be blocking us from receiving other good things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's like, of course, both sides of the coin. So one of the things I like to say about the vows of poverty is the interesting thing to keep in mind, to remember about that, is that you were supported in some way in that time and place when you took that vow. So if you were a monk or a priest or a nun, you were living probably in a monastery or a nunnery or some, you were housed, you were clothed, and you were fed. And so it was relatively easy to take a vow of poverty because you weren't going to starve. Mm-hmm. And even if you were, like, say, an ascetic monk in ancient India, with your rice bowl and your loincloth, you still weren't going to starve, because people would come and give you food. Even if it was a bowl of rice every day, for That's you, right. That was enough. So, we didn't starve. And so we took those vows, and when we take them, because of the intensity of our truth and our belief and our desire to be of service to humanity, which is really what we were doing in those days, we gave it all. We gave it our all. So there's a lot of it really does have to do about the energy behind our intention and our word. And that really is a lot of the the secret behind truly manifesting, mm-hmm. is to have that fire, to have that really powerful truth and knowing and energy behind what it is we're creating and manifesting. And when we know it's in alignment with our soul, and we can completely do it from our hearts with energy and love, then it really sticks and it works. So those vows did stick. They worked. And there are a lot of people out there, because we didn't usually do it once. I would say that most people who are on a spiritual path today have been on a spiritual path 20 lives, 50 lives, 100 lives out of their 700 lives, right?
True. Yeah.
So you didn't say that once. You probably said it 50 times, right? So we come to realize this. We come to release old energy. And interestingly, we also come together. We have group contracts where we come together as a collective group to release these vows together as a group, so that we can clear them energetically also for humanity and the collective conscious and unconscious beliefs of lack that we have in our world, in the whole world, in humanity. So many, many light workers also, the positive flip side in a sense is that we've come to do this work and to let it go, to realize the truth that we took these vows, realize the truth that we can change them, that we're very, very powerful, expansive beings, and to make these shifts. And when we do it for ourselves, it's not just for us, it's also for humanity. So all the work we're doing on ourselves, it really reverberates through the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's true.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a huge blessing in that way. You know, we have to realize that when we're working on ourselves, again, another kind of piece that the masters are reminding me, when we work on ourselves, a lot of people feel like they're being selfish. But the truth is, you are not being selfish. You are doing it for everyone. You're doing it for yourself first, because that's the only person you can really do it for first. But you're also doing it for everyone, for people in your family, for people in your soul group, for people in your community, and eventually rippling out to humanity. And when we get enough of us doing that, all the ripples start to cross, right?
Yeah.
And I like to say, poof, yay, you can let that go.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, that was a good point. You know, so, a lot of people, they don't realize, like, when I take time off for myself to do whatever it is, even if it's just relaxing, if it's sitting down to meditate, having a cup of tea and just taking time for myself, that's not being selfish. That's taking care of myself so that I can do more for everybody else, you know? So I have to sometimes sometimes I don't take enough good care of myself, you know, so, but I'm learning, you know, my back for the past month has told me, okay, you need to take care of yourself. You need to think of you as well. You can't just think of everybody else. You can't just be of service to everybody else. You have to be of service to yourself first. That was a tough one for me to listen to. I always say, you know, it's all good because I'm being of service. I'm being of service. I'm doing this for everybody else. It's all good, you know, but that doesn't mean I have to suffer, so...
Right. No, absolutely true. Really, if we don't, you know, if we don't care for ourselves, and it's, again, that's part of a lot of the old paradigm that it really is time to let go of, because when we have that piece of self-love, we can create abundance in our lives. And again, it's abundance of everything. Abundance of health, abundance of joy, you know, abundance of all of the good things in the world. Abundance of time to spend, go for a hike, spend with your family, your children, your loved ones, your friends, whoever it might be, your pet, your dog, you know, your cat. It's, you know, whatever it is for you, it's perfect. But that self-love piece actually does make a difference in creating abundance in your life. So do you want to clear out some past life vows? It's great to do as a group. So
let's do that, and then we'll go to the questions, because we have a question on the Q&A and another question on the Q&A and some people with their hands raised. So yes, let's do this, and then we'll take some questions.
Okay. All right. So again, just sit back and close your eyes, breathe into your heart. Just imagine, I like to just imagine I'm moving out of my head all the way down into my heart, and then I see my heart like it's a big round balloon, and it just expands and expands, and it fills my body. And if it's comfortable for you, and you're in a place where it's quiet, you can expand out literally to fill your whole auric field and fill the whole room, whatever it is comfortable for you. So often when we can expand and open our hearts in that sort of way, it really makes it easier for us to release and to move forward and to clear different sorts of things. That's my little multi-poo, Scotty. Can you hear her barking? She always hangs out with me all the time, and when someone comes in the house, she's like, okay, Zizi, come here. Come say hi. Come say hi. Okay, so expanding out and breathing. What we're going to do is we're going to go, so you can imagine, if you're a very visual person, imagine yourself going into a past life, whatever life pops up in your mind, in which you took a vow of poverty. And I'll do it for the group energetically with the master. So we'll go back throughout time, outside of time and space. And I'm just going to ask for some of the first times that we as a group took these vows of poverty. And just continuing to breathe into that energy. We're clearing, the masters, the beings of light, are clearing out all of that constriction, all of the pain or trauma that you may have experienced in those lifetimes, because you may not have been starving, but then again, you may have been, in a very cold and damp church, spending your days kneeling on an ice cold stone floor. So really, a little painful, not so fun. So let's we'll clear all of that out. Okay, keep breathing, breathe in, let it go. Breathe in again, releasing. Yawning, if that works for you.
Yep.
And I will clear and release that physical pain and trauma, which is a really big piece to get rid of, because that's where a lot of that pain and constriction holds us back, that kind of physical part, and the emotional pain and constriction and trauma that we may have experienced that are connected in with those vows. So letting all of that emotional trauma go. Good. And any spiritual pain that we may have, where we made that vow and then we felt duped, or that we were abused or misused, even though we've made those vows and we gave ourselves to God or to the divine. The church mistreated us, or we were mistreated somehow in a spiritual way, in a spiritual setting. Okay. Letting all of that go. Good. And again, we just want to bring in all of our highest and best Akashic record wisdom and information that we can now hold. I'm yawning too. Good, and then we fold time and space, and we let the masters, I request that the masters, if people would like, to really let go of those books. If we imagine we're in a library and these are books that these lifetimes were written in, we literally I see the books often dissolve, disintegrate, burn, the pages are torn out, whatever it is, it's all perfect, because what we're doing is we're recycling old stuck energy. Energy never goes away, it's all energy. So if we burn a book or we rip up a paper, it's actually allowing us to recycle that energy so we can reclaim it for the highest and best good for ourselves now. So I see that also as we've let go of any of those old vows and contracts of poverty. We see that beautiful, clear, recycled energy coming in again as beautiful, high vibrational energy back into your body. All the way down to the tips of your toes, filling up your whole physical form, all the way up to the top of your head, and then it spills over and fills up your whole auric field. So you're filled from the inside out with your highest and best energy. Good, good, feels better, lovely.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's great. It's fun to see all that yawning, Shefali.
I know, it's like, oh my God. Thank God I'm not driving right this minute. I still have half an hour before I really have to be driving. But it's like, So it's a lot of energy moving, right, and releasing and recycling, like you said, and new energy, or my own divine energy coming in, filling up those spaces that the old energy was taking up, right?
Correct.
Yeah, sorry, I just have to talk just so I can get myself back into like the space.
Right. Perfect.
Okay, so we're going to go to the phones because we have a few callers with that have had their hands raised for a while. So we're going to go to area code 614. Area code 614, you there?
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, hi. How are you?
Great. Who's this?
This is Ashley. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Great, Ashley.
My question really... Hi.
Go ahead.
This has been really enjoyable so far. So valuable.
Good.
My question just for me is, I feel that every root chakra issue that I could possibly have, I kind of have right now, in terms of no feeling of security in the world. No sense of, it's hard for me to be present. Hard for me to even want to be grounded because I don't feel safe. And I ultimately don't feel like, I feel like, another shoe will drop anytime I start to settle into a sense of security.
Okay.
Oh.
Good. Okay. So, let's see. Let me ask the masters what we can do for you and for the group, the collective here on the call today. So there's two things I'm getting. The first thing I'm actually going to do is clear out everybody's first chakra. So what happens is through a lot of trauma, through a lot of physical trauma, pain. So our first chakra, our root chakra, is really about survival. Okay, so when we've had issues surviving, when we've had a present life, say a childhood, where maybe there was a lot of lack, or there was a lot of anger, or there was physical or emotional abuse, all of those things would shake our root chakra. It would make us kind of want to close that down, and basically what we're saying is, I don't want to be here. And so energetically, we're not coming into our bodies. And the truth is, when we don't come into our physical bodies, it's very, very challenging for us to manifest and create anything in this world, because this world, this dimension is connected to this physical level of this physical plane, sorry. Sometimes I get a little out there myself. I'm like, okay, so it's connected to this physical plane. And one of the places, the best place for us to actually create and manifest from is from our third chakra. So I don't know, our third chakra is our solar plexus. And actually, I spoke about the soul signature meditation. Maybe we'll... timing wise, I don't know if we'll have a chance to do it, but maybe we'll get a chance to do the soul signature meditation. There's actually it looks kind of like an eye or a jewel that is where our heart chakra and our third chakra cross. So our third chakra is also, it's about outpicturing our survival. So our first chakra is literally about survival. Our second is very much about our emotions and our sexuality and our connections to people on an emotional level. And our third chakra is about creating what we'd like to create in the world. And so it's really very much about how we outpicture our survival. So it's about the car we drive, the house we have, the job we have, what we've created in the world. And then, of course, you cross those two places, the third chakra and the fourth chakra, our heart center, and where they come together, where they overlap, is what I call the wish-fulfilling jewel.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and so from that place, you really can it's a fabulous place to create and to manifest from. But we need to actually be able to get all the way down into our bodies, be grounded, and so that we can be expansive in that place. And again, like I say in this soul signature meditation, we really expand out in that very, very huge way from that space. And that's how come we can create. So first, let's just clear. I'm going to just do a general chakra clearing. You know, our chakras have 12 layers to them. Most people just think of a chakra as either kind of a ball or a tube, but there's actually 12 layers within that chakra. So it's quite complicated in its own right. So you have your conscious part, your astral part, and your unconscious layers. And so we're just clearing that all out for everybody. And then what we'll do is just asking the masters what I'm kind of hearing this is a little 3-step process for everyone. So first we're going to clear that out. We're going to get down all the way down into our bodies again. And then I'm just going to clear kind of survival trauma from this life and or past lives. So we can absolutely clear it. You don't even have to believe in past lives. You could just move everything into this lifetime, because I often find that they have similar energies and recurrences also. So okay, so just notice, you might feel your first chakra. Of course, that's your root chakra. You may feel it buzzing or tingling or spinning as we're clearing all that old energy out of there. And as we clear it out, it's like what I'm seeing is some scarring and some old, you know, we kind of stuff things. We just, like, we don't want to think about it, we don't want to feel it, we don't want to remember it, we just kind of stuff it in the back of a chakra. That's why we have 4 layers of unconscious in every one of our 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th chakras. So you could do some pretty intense clearing on all 12 layers of the chakras. So we're just doing the first today, and then okay, so that's feeling better. Good. So I'm starting to see that kind of open and expand and spin for the group. And then we're going to, we're going to clear that survival pain and trauma for everybody. So just if a picture comes up, just notice it, thank it, and let it go. If it's from this lifetime, if you happen to have that sort of survival trauma in this lifetime, of course, which many, many people have, and if it wasn't in this lifetime, just, you know, just know that it's probably from another time or place, another, you know, life or dimension. And you may or may not notice or see. You may get that. A lot of people are pretty clairvoyant, and so we may see it as a picture show up. And so just thank it and let it go. As we're just clearing, I'm grounding and clearing and draining out all of that trauma, that emotional pain, that physical pain, any spiritual pain, if it had to do with ourselves as, you know, spirits or spiritual beings. Okay. Good. Now I'm yawning. Good. Okay, so good. That feels better. And so I'm just gonna, again, I just like to do a layer of erasing that physical trauma. Again, just allow yourselves to breathe deeply and let it go. Whew. A lot of times that's very useful. Just blow it out, blow it out, blow it out. We're just kind of exploding that energy, which is a helpful way to release it on all levels and layers. Good. Okay. Good.
Wow.
So again, yeah, I kind of do this funny thing with my hands, which is the view and the energy to me of folding time and letting any karma, contracts, or vows be released by the beings of light. So that's kind of what I'm doing when I do that thing. Just so y'all know, because it's like, oh yeah, now people can see me.
That's right, we can.
So good. Good, that feels better.
Wow. Thank you. Feels so
My
much
pleasure.
Thank you, Ashley. Fantastic. And so that helped a lot of us, because I know a lot of us have issues with our root chakra for sure.
Yeah. And so just while we're kind of, while you're going on to the next person, let's just take a moment and just again imagine we're inviting our spirit. I like to imagine it almost like you have this, you can see this soul kind of floating above your head, and there's a grounding cord which looks kind of like a kite with a tail. And I like to grab that tail and pull that spirit, all that part of me, all the way down into my physical body, and I can see that coming all the way down and starting to align with the physical body, all the way down into the tips of our toes, all the way into our feet. And then that grounding cord goes right down from the base of our spine, and we can run that grounding cord, that tail, all the way down and wrap it around the core of the earth, and ask our dear Mother Earth to help us to stay grounded and present as we do this expansive work. And we can just do that ourselves every day to ground ourselves that way, using a grounding cord, inviting our spirit in, kind of encouraging that, grab that tail, pull some of that energy down into our bodies. And so what you might be feeling is more energy filling up your physical body, more, sometimes for people it almost feels tingly or effervescent in the physical form. Good. Good.
Yeah, that feels good. I mean, I get chills, or like I feel cold, which Lisa, I mean, who knows, maybe that's why I'm always cold, because I'm always having energy flowing through me.
Yeah, absolutely. It does it. Absolutely. Some people get cold, some people get hot. We're so unique. It's always fascinating, Yeah. There is definitely no right or wrong, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're going to take another call, then we're going to go to the Q&A. I have no idea where this is. Maybe Indiana. I could be totally wrong. Area code 641.
Hello?
Hi.
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 Actually, I'm in Iowa. My name is Daya, and I'm glad you called on me. I appreciate the work that you do, hosting these calls, and this is my first time in understanding more about the Akashic Records. And
Great.
I'm wondering how. It's very exciting to me, and I would like some help with my records and helping me to understand how, I guess I'd like to understand, or I don't know how, and I still don't quite understand how this works, but how to keep the abundance that I do get, because I do receive abundance. However, I lose it. And so right now I have some awareness of some family history stuff, and so I would just like to know, how can I better work with the Akashic beings who are with me to help me to release those things that no longer serve me?
Great question. So again, I always kind of stop, because it's like, oh, okay, which do I say first? There's like, 3 or 4 things. So part of the first thing I actually heard for to have that. Again, just like we talked a little briefly about havingness, it's about deserving, having abundance, and keeping that abundance, and having that continually flowing to and through you. So of course, it's important that we literally do use, share, spend our money, because that abundance does need to flow. That's part of the way it works. So when we freeze it up, when we tuck it away, when we lock it away, and we constrict around it, again, very often that will cause it to uncreate. We'll lose it some way or another. So one of the things the masters are saying is a piece of deservingness. Now, I don't know if that's connected to the ancestral part for you, but there definitely is an ancestral. I'm sorry?
Yes, that does. It does make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's other levels and layers of ancestral information, and so what I'm hearing today is we can do some clearing around deservingness, and again, when I do talk about what I'm offering to the group, is we do a lot of clearing around the ancestral energy, around our genetic energy, and even around all these different soul lineages. So sometimes the energy comes literally from our parents genetically, and sometimes they're ancestral beliefs. And I often use the Irish example as an ancestral belief, just because it's kind of an obvious an easy one to look at, because with the potato famine and with the huge loss and lack in Ireland at the time, when there was great drought and there was really nothing to eat, people were starving, there was nothing but potatoes, and even though that's a long time ago, what I notice is that many people of Irish ancestry still hold that energy of loss and of lack, and there's a level of guilt that gets in there, and a feeling of not deserving. And sometimes it comes from a past life in which we were there, and sometimes it's passed down energetically by the group, which is our ancestry, right? So if we're Irish, then we have Irish ancestors, and then there's the whole genetic piece that is really in our genes, and then the layer is about what our parents actually said. And so many different layers all around this same kind of information.
Okay. I have a follow-up question. So as we begin to work with your program with the Akashic Records, is it a way of continually clearing and creating more abundance and more space, and having more of that clarity all of the time? And once we turn that key, then it's always on, kind of thing? Because that's what I find. I find like I take so many steps on my spiritual path, and then it seems like I get pulled right back into old, behavior patterns, or maybe old stuff that comes up again, and then I take a few steps back, and then I start moving forward again.
Yeah, it's a good question. I know exactly what you mean, and it's fascinating because, again, just like I talk about levels and layers of information, so we can work through all of these levels, and we start to expand, and then something else, something new shows up, and we go into fear. Or I'll tell you what, one of the ones that I worked with for really kind of years, to tell you the truth, was one of overwhelm. So I would expand, I would have all these clients, and I still had these 3 small children, and I would think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I've got the kids, and I've got too much to do, and I'm completely overwhelmed. And immediately all the clients would go away. right? So we can notice, so we start to notice where we do this and what are our triggers. And of course, if we're working in the Akashic Records, we can of course ask our masters, what's triggering me? How do I release this? Where else is this hidden? Or are these other pieces that I can let go of? So when you're actually working within your own Akashic Records, you can continue to ask and do and learn and expand and grow. And so what I find is, because we've lived, well, I'm 57, so I've got plenty of years to work through whatever's happened here on Earth, not to mention my other 700 lifetimes. And so, I love to say, yes, you can clear it in an instant, and a lot of it we do. But so the next level is choosing to stay expansive and to let go of those triggers. So that's the piece I'm kind of getting to share with you, is kind of continually remembering to let go of the triggers. So, and you're welcome. So, when we do talk, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, awesome. That's so very helpful.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, and
thank you so much.
Thank you. And she's absolutely right. It's sometimes we have those triggers, and then they keep coming back all the time, and we don't know how to get rid of them, because sometimes we don't even know that they're triggers. We just go back into that space again, instead of staying expansive. It's like we have to continually remind ourselves, tell ourselves to, stay in that expansive state instead of going back to the history, the past, right?
Right, absolutely. And this is why, again, the Akashic Masters said to me, and I kind of laughed because they yelled at me for years. It took me 5 years to figure out who was yelling at me. So I'm a little dense. I'm not really the fast, I'm not going to say, not always the sharpest tool in the shed, right? It took me 5 years to figure out who was yelling at me. And then when they finally got my ear and they told me I was supposed to do all this stuff, and I told them they were nuts. And, so it's a process. But the good news is if you keep walking down that road, you will get where you want to go. And that's really about alignment and your soul purpose. And that's a wonderful piece to work within your Akashic Records. So with the program that we have for Activate Your Abundance,
let's talk about that, Lisa, because it's a good time to talk about it. If you're on the webcast, you can click on, If you're on activateyourabundance.com/live, you can just click on the speaker special offer. If you're on the phone, or if you're on watching the Google Hangout, you can go to activateyourabundance.com/Lisa. So that's activateyourabundance.com/Lisa. I'm a little slow. I usually write it on the thingamajiggy up here, just so that people can see it. Activate Your Abundance. Do you see it, Lisa?
Yep.
/Lisa. Okay, perfect. And this is a totally different offer that than we've ever had before with Lisa. So really excited about that.
Yeah. So this is a brand new offer that hasn't been out before. So that's kind of fun and exciting. And the wonderful benefit of this offer is that I'm teaching you tools, holding the Akashic vibration for you, and doing the healing with the masters with and for you. So in this program, you don't have to learn how to access your Akashic Records before you can do this. So we're literally going through and doing all of these levels and layers of clearing for you. So so here we, over 6 hours of healing and Akashic healing energy and processes to clear your money issues. And so this will help to get you unstuck from that financial rut in so many different levels and layers. So when I said to the masters, what can I do for people? How can we do a big general clearing for them? This is what they gave us. And so in the first session, we start to create boundaries so you can tell what information is yours and what is coming from other people. So it's really important to not take on everybody else's beliefs and lack, because once we can unshift and get rid of all of their lack, you might find that you just that way are really a pretty abundant person in your own right. So that can be pretty amazing, right? So just moving out, getting people out of your space and moving out of their, the collective unconscious belief and lack can be life-changing. So we work with what we talked about, havingness. We work and look at the havingness scale, your ability to have, and I'll teach you an energy technique so you can start clearing out old childhood beliefs. And then in the next session, we do a lot of clearing and releasing of group contracts and these collective beliefs, so you can free yourself up to have more energy, more positive, abundant energy. We work a lot around the karma that we talked about around money. So a lot of times, many of us have had dubious business dealings. We were pirates or prostitutes or ended up in debtor's prison. And so our souls, desire to grow and overcome these past traumas by creating this lack or some of this memory or energy in this lifetime. And so we do a lot of clearing around all of that, those karmic issues, and we work with forgiveness prayer, and we do some meditations and go soak in the river of forgiveness to help us forgive ourselves, because a lot of us have that deservingness belief. We believe we don't deserve. Mm-hmm. And if we don't deserve, then, then it's pretty hard to have, right? So all of that's really important to know and be aware of. And so then in the third session, we work around all of these different vows from past lives, like we did a little, touch of today, vows of poverty. I like to throw in that vows of celibacy too while I'm at it, because I figure if I took a vow of poverty, I probably took a vow of celibacy.
Yeah, probably.
So that's a good one. People are like, I'm broken, I don't have a relationship. It's
exactly.
Like, let's kill two birds with one stone.
Wow, yeah. I never thought I didn't even put the two together, that's so true, right?
Yeah, it is. And so again, all those different levels and layers. We also do a reclaim lives. We do a past life reclaiming of energy, because it's really, not only do we want to clear, but we also want to reclaim that which we've known. So we actually do a meditation where we reclaim past lives of joy and abundance, so we can balance out those old beliefs. And I have to say, and there's a manual that's along with that, and we really do. It's kind of funny because I'm kind of briefly, trying to read through this, and of course, I write this, but I'm like, I know we do all of this ancestral clearing. I know it's somewhere in here. I'm not sure which week it was. These are each about an hour and a half long sessions or so, and so there's just a lot of clearing for like all of these hours. And so it's broken into 4 sessions, so it doesn't completely exhaust and overwhelm you. And you can also break it into more sessions if that's useful, because it can make you kind of spaced out and tired to do a lot of clearing and releasing. But we work with childhood beliefs. We work with our the unconscious beliefs from our families. We work with.
There's even the soul signature meditation in here. That's one of the bonuses. The 2-hour Q&A with with the soul signature meditation.
Wow.
I know. I'm reading the page too. It's like, oh, what's I'm
good. Who would have thought? Oh, That's right. So right. So we have 2 more hours of people who are asking questions, just like we've been doing a little bit of today, and clearing all of the energy and issues that arose from that. And then we do the soul signature meditation to help you connect to your new clients, friends, soul family, and bring more abundance of all kinds in your life. And then there is. Yeah, it's a great one. I love that one. And then another bonus is the guided, guarded, and protected meditation, which is what we were briefly doing is filling ourselves up with our highest and best vibration and energy so that we can be really solidly us. And so that moves people out of our space. It makes us really clearly in alignment with our own soul and our own soul's purpose. And I always laugh because in the end you look like this big golden egg. So I call it the golden egg meditation very often because that's, you know, kind of we're filling our whole solid body, our whole auric field, and of course our aura looks kind of like an egg shape. And so it's a beautiful meditation. I have clients and students who do it every day. I've got a couple who live in New York and take the subway, and they literally listen to it while they're riding on the subway for 15 minutes every day on their way to work. So it gets you grounded, it gets you solidly filled with your energy, it pushes everybody out of your space. So that's a wonderful guided meditation also. And then the third bonus, which I really love to offer people, is a savings of almost $80 on a private Akashic consultation and healing session with me. And so I really like to make that possible for people to do because, of course, since I've been doing this for so long, it's very easy for me to quickly kind of zone in on, you know, your soul's story and what's up for you, so that we can clear and get that released. So on you can go. And so that's the third bonus that I'm offering on a 60-minute private consultation, is that 30% discount.
Wonderful, love it. And you know, like I said, there's so many things in here. I think Lisa forgot that the soul signature meditation was part of the program, so I was like, yay!
I do. I have to like reread it, and I'm like, oh, there's all sorts of stuff I kind of didn't say too much. I guess I in the first session we teach you an energy technique so you can start clearing old childhood beliefs, most of which belong to your parents and the adults around you. So please go back through and read it. I was just, you know, doing the cliff notes. So
yeah, absolutely. So again, that's at activateyourabundance.com/Lisa. I will put that on the Google Plus event page after, and it'll be on the YouTube link as well. So that's activateyourabundance.com/Lisa. Wonderful. Thank you, Lisa.
You are welcome.
And so now I have a quick question from Lisa, who posted a question on the Q&A part of the Google Hangout, and she says, I've been trying to achieve a goal that I've felt is my life's mission for over 35 years. Now some are telling me to stop living in the past and move on. What can Lisa see here for me achieving my life's mission? That's Lisa Smith. Lisa S. Smith. I can't talk.
Well, the first thing I tend to say is that I'm not in your personal record, so having a consultation with me is very different than me kind of being in the group energy and receiving information. But what masters are saying for you, Lisa, is that what would be very beneficial is to bring it into present time. So what I get is that very often we have an image, a picture, a desire, and it really actually gets stuck in this old energy, and then as we go forward in time, it's still living past here, and it does become living in the past. So whatever energy, trauma, whatever's kept you from being able to create it, it would be very useful to clear and release that and let that go so that you can reclaim that energy, bring it into the present time, and then start from this place of what's my highest and best to do now, from where I am today, from where the vibration of the planet is today, because the vibration of the planet, of humanity, have all changed over the last 35 years. So it may be something that's actually easier for you to do now if you let go of some of the old energy.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I'll have to remember that one for myself too, because, you know, sometimes we have an old goal or an old thing that we still want to continue doing, but maybe the energy of it has changed.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, one last quick question from the Q&A. Gaytree. If you're experiencing an issue, do you need to do the Akashic clearing more than once?
Great question. You absolutely can. And again, like I said, that's probably almost 6 hours worth of clearing. So we go through so many different levels and layers to get to, the bottom of a lot of what it is. Because like I've been talking about, we may have vows of poverty. We might have lives of destitution. We cleared some of those lives where we sold ourselves short. We have lives of extreme wealth and debauchery. So we have lives where we've been really wealthy, where we've, died of phlebitis or some kind of nasty disease because we were so obese and unhealthy, and we on our deathbed we said, I am never doing that again. I don't want to be rich. Rich was terrible, right? Yeah. So we have those kind of lives. So what we're doing in the program is clearing all of those things, and the childhood stuff, and the parent stuff, and the ancestry, and the genetic, and on and on. So really, by the time you get to the end of that, you should be feeling pretty open and expansive. And then, I would do the soul signature meditation every day for a while. I would do the golden egg meditation. That's kind of a grounding, filling yourself up. That's kind of a daily, what I often call like energetic hygiene. Just like you would shower every day, well, really grounding yourself and filling yourself up with your highest energy is a real good practice to do every day also. So, I can't really give you a yes or no answer there because, it's just not quite that way. So you continue with the process, and then you see where you are and how things have shifted.
And I think I would also add to keep asking different questions too, right? Because there's different levels and layers, like you said, so maybe you need to ask different questions to address little bits and pieces of stuff.
Right, absolutely, yeah. So you may find that you're thinking as you're doing it the first time about, wanting a new job and making more money, and then you might go through and do it a second time around relationship and an abundance of love. And so you can actually use these processes with different intentions like that. So not just the abundance of money, but the abundance of everything. I want to have an abundance of time. What makes me feel like I don't deserve that? Is there a lack where I feel, guilty about taking time, or, so again, you could use it for time, you could use it for love, you could use it for money, you could use it for fun. So, right there, you could do it 4 times with different intentions.
Absolutely. Yeah, great question. Thank you. And wow, Lisa, this was a great call. We learned so much, and the energy work was so good. You guys saw me yawning. You guys heard me yawning. You guys saw me yawning. So we cleared a lot of stuff, and we brought in more of our own divine wisdom, our own divine energy to fill up those spaces that we released, right?
Absolutely.
So I like that part, because it's not just about the releasing. It's about, after you release, you bring in your own divine energy, your own divine wisdom to fill up those spaces that are now cleared, so that the energy cannot come back, I would say.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you. This has been fantastic. And in the U.S., I know it's tax day today, so enjoy.
That's right.
For us, we have an extension until May the 5th or 6th because of the heartbleed virus. It affected the counter-revenue agency and so on. So we have a few extra days. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. We didn't get that. Actually, I'm sure my husband's a CPA, so he's working on taxes, and I bet that he's really grateful they didn't get that, because that means he gets to take a couple days off after working 7 days a week. So, yay, tax day. For me, it's really I get my husband back. It's a great thing. Anyway. So.
Absolutely. I'm happy about the virus because it gives me an extra few days to work on my taxes because I haven't even started yet. Yeah. It'll be after next week, taxes. So yeah, thank you, Lisa. This has been great. And you guys take a look at that special offer again. It's at activateyourabundance.com/Lisa. Because there's a lot of clearings in there for abundance, prosperity, receiving, having. I love the idea of the soul signature meditation and the golden egg meditation. I think we really do need that on a daily basis just to keep ourselves grounded and filled with more of our own divine energies. So absolutely, thank you.
And one more, there is the Reclaim, one of my favorite ever meditations, Reclaim Your Past Life Wisdom meditation. And in that meditation, we're using it to reclaim past life wisdom about abundance and joy. But I used that meditation when I was writing my book. I used it to reclaim information about being a successful author. You could actually re-listen to that meditation and put whatever you're intending to reclaim in there. If you want to feel like you're bringing in, ease in parenting, or a great chef, or a good writer, or a clear speaker, whatever it might be for you. I love that meditation because it's a real tactile experience of reclaiming past life energy and wisdom, and I find it very powerful. So that one too I love. So it's really all that time. It's not about me talking very much. I explain a little, but it's almost solidly, 5 to 6 hours of clearing. So it's very powerful.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you to the people watching on Google Plus Hangout and YouTube. And for the people calling in, thank you. And submitting questions, thank you, because they helped all of us. I love that clearing for the root chakra, and fun. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day and continue to live your life filled with joy, peace, and happiness and abundance. I'm running late. I gotta go grab my daughter. All right, so how do I do this? Good night, or have a great day.